Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get our regular city council meeting called to order. The time is 7:36 PM. And we're going to call it to order. Are you in charge? Where's Scott?
Dan's in charge.
All right. We're going ahead and call the meeting to order. I'll call roll. Counselor Bremen. Here. Counselor Purser.
Here.
Counselor Williams.
Yes.
Counselor Cry.
Here.
Counselor Miller.
Present.
And Counselor Hansi has stepped out. He'll be back in just a little bit. So with that, we're going to move into our moment of silence and pledge of allegiance. So if you'd please stand with me. We're going to take a moment of silence to allow all faiths and beliefs the opportunity for a silent prayer. Thank you. If you'd please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, with that, we've got an agenda before us. Are there any changes to that agenda?
Changes to the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We got a first and a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Debbie, do you please poll council?
Counselor Bremen.
Yes.
Counselor Purser.
Yes.
Counselor Williams.
Yes.
Counselor Cry.
Aye.
Counselor Miller.
Yes.
And then Counselor Hansi has stepped out and he'll be back in a.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. With that, we've got we're moving into our proclamations and presentations. So we've got a proclamation proclaiming the week of Sunday, April 16th through Sunday, April 23rd, 2023 as days of remembrance in memory of the victims of the Holocaust and in honor of the survivors, as well as the rescuers and liberators, to be accepted by John Ainsley tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and read this proclamation and we'll ask John to come up and speak with that. So whereas the Holocaust was a state-sponsored systematic persecution and annihilation of European Jewry by Nazi Germany and its collaborators between 1933 and 1945, Jews were the primary victims, with 6 million Jews murdered. In addition, Roma, disabled people, Poles, gay men, Jehovah's Witnesses, Soviet POWs, and political dissidents also suffered terrible oppression and death under Nazi tyranny. And whereas a well-educated community is necessary to promote the ability to respond effectively to hateful speech and to prevent actions based upon hate. And whereas in recognition that hatred, racism, bigotry, and intolerance challenge our society today, the state of Colorado requires that by July 1st, 2023, each school district board of education and charter school include Holocaust and genocide standards as a requirement for high school graduation. And whereas the history of the Holocaust offers an opportunity to reflect on the moral responsibilities of individuals, societies, and governments, and whereas we, the people of the city of Fruita, Colorado, should always remember that terrible events of the Holocaust and remain vigilant against hatred, persecution, and tyranny. And whereas we, the people of the city of Fruita, Colorado, should actively rededicate ourselves to the principles of individual freedom in a just society. And whereas the Day of Remembrance have been set aside for the people of the city of Fruita to remember the victims of the Holocaust, as well as to reflect on the need for respect of all peoples. And whereas pursuant to a 1980 Act of Congress, the United States Holocaust Memorial Council annually designates days of remembrance of the victims of the Holocaust, this year to be Sunday, April 16th through Sunday, April 23rd, 2023, including the day of remembrance known as Yom HaShoah, April 18th, 2023. Now, therefore, we, the Fruita City Council, on behalf of Joel Kincaid, Mayor of Fruita, does hereby proclaim the week of Sunday, April 16th through Sunday, April 23rd, 2023 as days of remembrance in memory of the victims of the Holocaust and in honor of the survivors, as well as the rescuers and liberators. And further proclaim that we, as citizens of the city of Fruita, should work to promote human dignity and confront hate whenever and wherever it occurs. All right, did you want to say a few words?
Well, thank you for having me and doing this resolution. I am a retired assessor from Michigan, and it's just good to get back into a council meeting and see what it all was when I left. It hasn't really changed that much, but it's very good. Also, I want to say that in my family, my uncle was a liberator of one of these concentration camps. And he had to also shut down the concentration camp as part of his responsibility. So it's very, I think, holds much to my family that he is also did that. Also, it still continues on today, but we always have that hope that it will never happen again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. If you come on up, John, you want to come up here? We're going to give this to you. Thank you for coming in. It was this Robert Bosch. All right, with that, we're going to move into our public participation. So this section is set aside for the city council to listen to comments by the public regarding items that do not otherwise appear on the agenda. Generally, the city council will not take any action on these items. So if there's anybody in the audience that'd like to speak on something not on the agenda, now is your opportunity. All right. So we're going to ask you to state your name and address for the record, then we ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
My name's Lane Good. I live at 181 Arches Drive, Fruita, Colorado. Anyways, I know you guys, the state is pushing the low income housing. And there's a couple things you guys should bear in mind. The first one is that the country used to not do it that way. They used to have a thing called the projects. And the projects were basically to basically allocate resources in a certain spot. Our country has moved away from that and now spreads out low income all throughout the city. Some of the consequences of that are as follows. Most crime is, if you look at crime statistics, crime is mostly committed by, it's not race, it's not ethnicity, it's not gender, it's basically poverty. So poverty is the #1 indicator of crime rates. So what happens is you get low income housing, you spread it all over the place, you get crime everywhere. So by not having projects or local areas for that, that's the reason why all these cities now do not have the funding for police officers and stuff. It's because they have to send cops everywhere. Okay. So Fruita, I'm not going to be here long term. I'm planning on leaving in the next 10 years because I do not like what's happening to Fruita as far as the way you guys are growing it, bringing in low income, things like that. It's losing its small town feel. So as you were doing this, it's a law of unintended consequences. You should understand you're spreading crime all throughout the city, and the crime rates will go up as you bring in more low income because crime is caused by low income people. As a police officer from the city of Fruita told me, 90% of crime is committed by 10% of the people. And there's certain locations in Fruita where that happens. And you guys should be aware of those stats. Thank you.
Thank you, Lane. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak on an item not on the agenda? All right, hearing none, is there anybody online?
No comments online, Mr. Mayor.
All right, with that, we're going to close public participation and move into our consent agenda. So these are items where all conditions or requirements have been agreed to or met prior to the time they come before council for final action. They'll all be approved by a single motion of the council. So we're going to go ahead and open up the consent agenda. If anybody in the public would like to speak on an item on the consent agenda, now would be your opportunity. Hearing none here, is there anybody online?
No comments online.
All right, I'll bring it back to council. I'll close public comment and bring it back to council. Are there any questions on consent agenda? All right, is there a motion to approve? Mhm.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we've got a first and a second. Any other comments? All right, hearing none. Deb, would you please poll council?
Counselor Purser,
Yes.
Counselor Williams,
Yes.
Counselor Cry,
Aye.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Hansi,
Yes.
Counselor Freeman,
Yes.
motion passes 6-0.
All right, with that, we do not have any public hearings tonight, so we're going to move into our city manager's report. And I guess we've got Dan here to present on this one.
To impersonate the city manager.
Yeah.
Just two quick things that Mike wanted me to bring up is, and I believe that Councilmember Bremen brought this up at the last meeting, but Senate Bill 23 213, essentially the land use kind of lost to local control. He sent out an email to the council that essentially was a forwarded email from Kevin Ballmer, the executive director of the Colorado Municipal League, as a potential way for the council to essentially sign their name to the opposition to that bill. And he just wanted to give the council an opportunity to deliberate on that.
Everybody got that email? I looked at that because that was one of the questions I was going to ask. Do we want to sign our names?
Yes.
Is everybody okay?
And I thought we do it as an individual. and-
Right, but you can sign your name as a counselor,
Title.
as long as we're all in
Do
agreement.
it Together.
Okay, well, I hope you guys agree then because I already did. Sorry.
Good thing
Which-
attorneys over.
Right. I know she'd kill me. Which leads me to my other question. As part of Housing Authority, what's our official title with that?
The Board of Commissioners.
Commissioner.
Board of
Okay,
Commissioners.
okay.
So yeah, so just for future reference, if we've got something we're signing our name to as counselor, we need to have approval of council to do
I
that.
appreciate that.
That's what-
My bad on that. I thought it said if you want to sign this individually, that's what it
Well, it
said.
did say that, yeah.
Okay,
I'm assuming the same thing goes if we ever want to sign our name as a commissioner.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
okay.
Unanimous.
So
Well,
luckily
that'd
you
be a
guys were
policy
agreeing.
we have to share.
But
Right,
I would like us to.
right.
Yes.
And that's the policy that the past councils have said, is that if we want to sign our name as a counselor, then we need to have the backing of the council. So we're speaking as really a group and not just an individual.
Or the assumption the carryover goes for the housing authority as well.
Yeah, I would, well, we'd have to make that decision as a.
This bring up an extra thing, because I know we just went through an election cycle. So if we were gonna endorse somebody individually, under this idea, we couldn't put that we're a city councilor.
Correct.
Right, okay, so we would have to only endorse as a group.
No, we'd have to, you can endorse as a counselor if the whole council is saying yes, well.
Or as an
That's what he
individual.
Or
said.
as an individual, like,
Without
I,
title.
Without your title.
So just as James Williams,
I feel like.
business owner.
Address something that was in the paper, because I did make a donation to a candidate. It was done as an individual, actually out of
Sure.
a joint account. My title was never associated with it. But the paper still reported it as such. And there's
that's what the paper
It
does.
must not have liked who you were giving it to. It's probably.
No, and I,
Aaron was in the same.
Guilty as
on that
charged.
one.
Probably.
but there's something, so again, you follow the council procedure. Now what the paper prints because they know. Because
I
that,
just want to put it
Yeah.
out there in case,
but at any point, that's a good reminder for all of us on council is that we're really always wearing that council hat, no matter what we do, because of our involvement in the community. So,
So with this CML, is it follow that link and we submit it ourselves individually through that, or are we submitting a single?
And it's really.
right,
easy.
it's,
As a
we can
city.
each do it as a single person and say, and you.
Sorry, as a group, so we're doing it as singles, not as a group.
Correct, but then
On
you
the
can put your
submittal,
title
on the
on
actual
as a city councilor.
Luckily, everybody agreed because I already did. But yeah, it's real easy. You literally hit that link and you
Yeah,
put your
I just
name
wanted
and then you put your
to know if
title.
we're setting
That's all
as-
You do.
For city councilor as we're sending out, if you want to, 7.
I dodged a bullet, Dan, is what we're saying.
But they deliberate on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the,
Okay.
All right.
all right, so.
What else you got?
Did that answer your question, Dan?
Believe you have something, right, Sarah?
All right.
It's actually my update on my ask. So, as you probably saw last year, we did a State of the City video, and I'm working on the next one for this year, and we're kind of taking a different approach. And I've talked with Mayor Kincaid about this, and Ken's going to be helping with one of the scenes for Coffee with the City Manager. But essentially, it's going to be a first-person view of Mayor Kincaid going around the town or the city and showing some of the projects going on, the building division, Mulberry, Pine Street Bridge, the bike park. So kind of a cool, I don't know, story of him going around the city. And we would like to end it with Mayor Kincaid walking into a city council meeting, sitting down, and then he's revealed that the person behind the video has been him the whole time. And so I just wanted to see if that would be possible for one of the upcoming meetings or even a workshop for everyone to come in maybe 20 to 30 minutes early and we can just
For
shoot that.
makeup and
Yeah, for makeup and costumes.
James is gonna need a hairdo.
Yeah, so I was thinking either we have a city council meeting April 18th or a workshop on April 25th. So just coming in maybe 30 minutes early and we can film that real quick.
I won't
before
be the 18th, but,
the 18th?
oh, yeah, he won't.
Oh, won't be here the
Will not be
18th.
here.
Okay,
but you. can
Will
do
everybody
that
be
thing.
here at the workshop then? That's the question.
25th, yeah.
the 25th. Okay,
James
Right.
thinking.
What do you got in there?
I don't know. That's too far in the future for me to know.
Still this month.
You have to ask my wife.
The workshop,
I
6 PM, not 6.
I go where I'm told, man.
I'll have to check with
Commit
Mike,
nothing.
but I don't know if we need to change the meeting. Well, yes, if you
So
could
the
get
meeting
here
won't
at
Officially
6.
start till 6:30.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get here.
Right, so they can
Yes,
send us
get
out a
here
reminder.
Minutes early and then
Send a reminder.
meeting will
Yeah,
start at
just send us a
6:30.
reminder that-
Yep, I'll send you a reminder. Put
Okay.
it in your calendar.
All right, is
Thank you.
that it?
I think
Dan,
that's
anything
it.
else?
Nope.
All right, with that, then we're gonna move into our council reports and actions. Start with Ken.
Nothing.
All right, James?
Nothing.
Dean?
Nope.
Amy?
Oh, come on.
I also have two.
All right.
I attended the lunch and learn that was hosted with Andrea Heights last week. One of our local lenders hosted. It was really awesome. Just got like a more in-depth look at what they're looking at with the school closures and the reconfigurations. And she answered a lot of really, really good questions. Some of them that I hadn't even thought to ask. So that was just kind of informative. And then I wondered are we going to be hosting another like wheel to school or work event? Do you know, Dan? I know Mike would know that. It's in May, and I know last year that was kind of a,
Bike to work day?
yeah.
Deb's getting.
Usu-
the mic out.
They usually do.
Serious getting.
I think we
I just saw
are.
that it was coming up pretty quick and I hadn't
Yes.
heard anything and I didn't see it on
I will-
any of our
I will
stuff.
Check. Our Parks and Recreation Department usually
Hmm.
collaborates
Yeah.
with Mobile Mesa County, I think, but I'll check on that and
And that's,
back to you.
Mobile Mesa County was who had posted the little event, flyer. So I was like, oh, shoot, I haven't seen that. And I know that we usually do something, which I would love to participate in that again. That was really great last year.
Hey, Amy, I want to jump back onto that. What you're talking about, you went to the thing about the school closure. She was telling you about, they're having that open house on that. Is there any way that we could get some word out so that people know? Because when they did,
We have
what-
two town halls coming up, one at
that
the
would be
Acre-
nice if we could maybe help, because in whatever the last thing was, nobody knew about it.
When they only gave us a week notice on the last one.
Yeah.
We have much more advanced notice. I've been trying to,
So if we could maybe help spread the word on that, that might be helpful, because it affects our community ridiculously immensely, and no one knew about the last one. So I don't know what the date, I don't even know what the
We can
dates
get
are
you
right now
those
off the top of
dates.
my head, but if
They're-
you could
they're
maybe
back to back.
include that in some of the updates coming, Sarah, that might be helpful.
I agree. Important stuff. I think that's it.
Matthew?
A couple things. April 15th is the chamber banquet. So hopefully see some of you there. April 27th is the Western Colorado Economic Summit. So see you guys there.
After party,
Oh, yeah, the after party.
at Timberline Bank, right?
I have not reserved anybody for the after party.
We out of
Email
town directly after.
You emailed today? Oh, okay. Anybody else? Anybody else
That
going?
same, it's directly after.
Yeah.
Anybody else besides James?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This chamber banquet?
No, that's
after
for-
our-
At the Timberline Bank VIP. After.
Oh, no, that's after the economic summit.
Summit.
Yeah, I think I'm speaking at that, so I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna RSVP?
I think the after is what time? 4 to.
Like 5:30 to 7:30 or something.
You need to RSVP for it,
Yeah,
for the after.
the after party. You do want me to?
Yeah, please RSVP me. I'm hoping I.
Got it.
I do have a question on the chamber. Who all is planning on going to the chamber banquet?
Mike wrote us all.
Yeah, he wrote us all down, plus.
So
We're all plus ones and stuff too.
you all got +1.
You were here
Hey, you were sitting right there.
+1 and all right.
and you got one.
That's not a, I didn't get it. so-
Well, I just assumed, I guess I'll double check.
So we should double check on that
Oh.
How do you know?
because I got the ticket and it just said one person.
Uh-oh.
No, but we reserved, they have up to
Yeah,
two.
we have a
tables, I
table.
think.
Okay, so,
Mike,
We'll double
Mike
check on it.
specifically asked if it was, how many of us there would be.
okay, I just got the email and it just had me. So I did send an email back out, so I
Do you need to sit at my table?
separate my wife and I. So anyways, let's just move on beyond that. So we'll follow up on that. And then Housing Authority email. I cannot get mine to work on
I
my,
haven't had
I
any.
only get it to work on Outlook. And I cannot send an email out from the Housing Authority.
I think,
So
I talked to Shannon after the last meeting because I'm like, where's the password? And he's,
I have the password.
Oh.
Okay.
that's
But I,
It
mine
is,
still won't.
it's an alias.
sense.
It's an alias. It's not a new email account. So I'm not smart enough to know how to send something out from Apple Mail using that alias. So I do.
And
I'll need
he,
help.
Shannon is on it because that's what I told him. I want it for the Apple mail app and he does too. So. he's
Okay, it's being worked
on
on. Okay, great. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Aaron?
it. Had a Park and Rec Advisory Board meeting last night. Things are going great. Encourage them to make sure that there was kind of a discussion coming around that they were just gonna do the presentation and then they might do the workshop. And I'm like, plan on the workshop. We want that. Kind of explained how things went with the DAB and how awesome that was. And just kind of reiterated the expectations, or I don't want to say expectations, but the excitement of bring it all. And so I think that gave them a lot of excitement to start taking some ownership and
Cool.
more motivation. So exactly what we saw with DAB is what I conveyed to them. So they're excited for that. Side note, it's Mark got a bid back for lighting, like if we wanted to light a baseball field. One field is about $250,000. Just FYI on ridiculous costs.
Guess how much a water slide costs?
$800,000. Talk about how ridiculous that is. But no, just wanted to pass that on because he brought that up as a side note and it's like, well, yeah, big gulps. So that's it.
Okay, the only one I want to bring up, because it changed a little bit, I want to make sure the moving tires, Ciara, the Fruita Bark Park ribbon cutting is at 4
Mm.
p.m. on 17th, correct? Okay, you're gonna be there on that?
Yes, sir. Scissors in hand.
All right, James requested that he was able to cut the ribbon, so I said, okay, yep.
I think that's appropriate.
Thank you. So he's gonna go, I'm gonna be there.
Brittany better be there.
Counselors
Oh,
will be there, that's great.
Already been there.
So,
Already.
just want to let everybody know that,
Dogs are welcome, I'm assuming.
dogs are welcome.
Bring all the floofs.
So, all right.
Mike will
with-
not be attended. He get
Is
intended.
there anything else? Your last opportunity before we close the meeting. And put his phone away. So with that, the time is now 7:59. We are going to adjourn our meeting. Thank you.
You. What are you doing? You're great.